Okay, students. So good morning, everyone. So students, thank you very much for attempting the mock number 3. So I went through the mock number 3, students. There are some logical issues in your answers, which I will be clarifying today. So students, if the voice is very much clear for you all, you can put Y in the chat box, students, so that I can start explaining. Thank you very much, students. Okay, so students, if you observe mock 3, okay, before I go into the version of writing and explaining, I just want to give you a small guidance because your transfer pricing knowledge is good. I don't say it's bad, it's good, but the application needs a little bit improvement. Now, students, transfer pricing is a situation when there are divisional charges. So, example, students, let's assume students, let's assume a situation like Sony. Okay, Sony, I can say speakers, I think you are aware about. And then students, let's come to Sony laptops. So students, if you observe Sony speakers, Sony laptops, okay, what's going to happen is, students, in order to have a laptop, you need to have speakers inside the laptop. Agree or not agree, students? Yes or no? Now, if Sony is going to manufacture a laptop, they have two options, students. Sony laptops, one is they can use the Sony speaker, or another example is they can buy the speaker from Samsung as well. Agree? Yes or no? Priscilla, are you understanding this point of view? Agree? So, in a case of a laptop manufacturing, laptop needs a speaker as one of the products. So, they have the two options. One is you can directly buy it from your own company. The second one is you can buy it from a third-party company. So students, in the reality, you will be also observing something called the quality as well. So the quality factor is one thing that you will be considering. But if your organization's speaker is quality only for radio, or I can say for MP3, and it's not suitable for laptop, sometimes the division has the power to not to acquire this. And then students, after the quality comes the next aspect, which is the cost. Agree? Because people will be then considering the cost, which is beneficial for the organization. Now, students, if you buy from Sony, your good thing is credit advantage is there because you can delay that. What do you think, students? Yes or no? But if you buy it from Samsung, you do not have credit advantage because you need to pay on time. Okay. So students, these are the two major considerations in the point of strategic way of thinking. So students, now I will come to the next way. So can I ask you one question, Priscilla? Now, if I ask you speakers is a generic product or it is something a unique product? Generic product or a unique product? What do you think, Priscilla?
Generic product.
Generic product, right, students? So students, if you observe here, speakers are generic products. So students, even the government will have an understanding if you are doing price manipulation, because generic product, in other words, common in the market. I can say common in the market. So example, in case you are inflating the product, what will happen is the government will interfere and they'll ask you, why are you doing tax avoidance? Why are you doing tax avoidance by using this loophole? So government will have a control over this. So students, if you observe, the next thing is what I can specially say is there is something to consider on the pricing element. One is you can transfer at the cost. We say as marginal cost in simple language. In other words, not without a profit, or at the market price. You can transfer the speaker at the market price. Sorry, students, please unmute your mics. Okay, so students, one I can say is cost can be marginal, and the other one is you can consider that at the market price, or in the worst case scenario, it can be above the market price. This is where the tax avoidance comes into the picture, above the market price. And the third one is you can go below the market price as well, below the market price as well, below the market price as well. So students, these are the four considerations here in a real life. So students, if you observe, marginal cost can be applied only when you have something called excess capacity. Now, if you see, I think only Mr. Jose has written about that. I have made a good point. If you have an excess capacity, you can go with what students marginal costing. Excess capacity, marginal costing is possible. But students, if the capacity is competitive, then you need to go with the market price. Now, I want to come to the next question, students. Where do you think you can go above the market price and below the market price? In what situation you can go through that? Where you can go? Priscilla, any try you can give here? Where you can go above the market price or below the market price? In what situations?
Above market price when it's a unique product.
Excellent. When it's a unique product. When it's a unique product. In other words, it's very difficult to get a similar product like that. So can I ask you one question, Priscilla? Is our courses a unique product or a standardized product? Courses.
Well, we have both, so we do both. But
So
we have,
even if you see with our competitors, can we have 100% type of same product, or because of human element, the courses may vary?
they
What
will
do you?
vary.
They would vary, right, students?
Yes.
Now, if you see, speakers don't vary because the quality sound can vary, but if you see the human involvement, like these courses, after that I can say sports, entertainment, everything is completely a unique product. It's very, very, very difficult to identify. So in this situation, you can also go above the market price and below the market price, but here they have only mentioned about the possibility of marginal cost only. So the best answer should have discussed these as well. And I never saw any answers other than Mr. Sajal. I think Mr. Sajal has done a wonderful job this time. Only Mr. Sajal has considered the uniqueness of this industry. So students, before I come into the full explanation, if you don't mind, students, can you just write this down in your notebook, students? Can you just write this down, because I prefer, it will be great, you can write this down, students, this example, because I think this is one of the practical example that anyone can use it when you are writing this. So can you please write it down, and after you complete it, students, you can put Y in the chat box. Competition is the market price. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. But please understand, students, our industry is a unique industry. That's what, students, our ROC, everything is more than how many percent, students? 100%, right? We are ROC ratios are very, very high. The main reason the ratios are very, very high is we are human dominant business. Okay, Priscilla, can we continue with the question explanation?
Yes, please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. So students, anyway, I will be sharing this with you all. So even if you had not taken during the given time, that's fine. But I just want you to make a rough sketch of this. Okay, now students, what I can observe here is, let's look at this question first and then let's come into the application. But remember students, Priscilla, I want to ask one question. Now, if you see CIMA, we generally use the term that as a Chartered Institute of Management Accountant. Agree? No? We generally say as management accountant. But in your experience, have you observed that are we doing any accounting and finance in our exams? Are we doing any preparation of budget, anything in our examination? That is my
No.
question to you. No, right? We are not doing anything. So just
I
remember,
see.
we are not management accountants actually. We are management consultants. Who are we? We are management consultants. Do you observe that? Are we giving consultants answer here? We are not giving an accountant's answer. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And if you are a consultant students, the success of a consultant is always based on the understanding of the industry. If you are very theory person and if you do not understand the industry, then students, you will have a problem. So students, just remember this as well. Management accountants, so management consultants actually we can say. So students, now let's start analyzing this question. So here they are stating, Asif has sent you the following mail. We are going to develop the online learning app as a separate company. We have classified as a profit center and we will obtain content from Trayyner in case we are planning to go ahead with a transfer pricing strategy. So that means this company will be getting contents from Trayyner. So they can charge money for the contents, whatever they are distributing within the divisions. That is the understanding here. Please be kind enough to respond on the following. So firstly, please evaluate the possibility of transferring the content at marginal cost would prevent suboptimal behavior. So students, you need to understand suboptimal behavior. So I will tell you what is suboptimal behavior before we start doing the writing. So Priscilla, any understanding of suboptimal behavior? Any understanding of suboptimal behavior? What do you?
Is it unacceptable or bad practices?
Not exactly. Anyone in our class, you can comment in the comment box or you can talk. Below the standard, no, Mr. Yahya. Now, I will come to the explanation. Now, if you observe, Priscilla, every organization has something called what? Goal congruence. Agree? Correct? Now, if you observe, our organization also has a goal. So if you observe, Priscilla, I'll take the pre-seen material. So if you observe, our main goal is what? Senior executives, we are need to meet the need of senior executives. Agree or not agree? Yes or no, Priscilla? That
Agree.
means we are providing value based on, we are solving the needs of senior executives on the training. So that is our goal. Our organization goal is that. Agree, no, Priscilla? Now, suboptimal behavior is when the organization, one division is more concerned of their personal goals. You understand what I'm saying there? Personal goals. That is only known as suboptimal decisions. Are you understanding what I'm saying there? Now, if you observe, goal congruence means we need to win the match or tournament. But suboptimal behavior is like I am a football player like Ronaldo, that I don't mind that the team is losing or winning, that I should score 1 or 2 goals and get my name. That is only suboptimal behavior. Are you understanding what I'm saying? That means one department will try to be performing extremely well so that they can get the annual bonus. And ultimately, the goal congruence of the organization will get affected. Are you clear with that, Priscilla? Yes or no?
Yes.
Super. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me. But just remember, suboptimal behavior is you are only focusing on your department. You are ignoring the company's interest. That is suboptimal behavior. And the classic example I told you, the football player is not bothered about winning or losing, but he is bothered about he is scoring the goal. He is scoring the goal. So ultimately, that is suboptimal behavior. That is not good for organization because it affects the teamwork. Fine with that, students? So students, here they are saying transferring at marginal cost would prevent suboptimal behavior. Now, if you see marginal cost, I think Jose has done a good explanation. Marginal cost can be applied only when you have excess capacity. Agree, no, Priscilla? Yes or no? But if you have a capacity of a competing stocks, you should always sell it at what? Market price. Agree or not agree, Priscilla? Yes or no?
Agree.
Agree. Now here they are telling marginal cost will prevent suboptimal behavior, but I'm saying that it may not prevent suboptimal behavior. That should be my answer. You get what I'm saying? Are you clear there? Fine. So students, now I'll come with the explanation now. So what we will do now is, students, let's start working on the answer. So mock 3, so we can start working on the answer, students. Mock 3, it is very much visible here, mock 3. So what I will initially start working on here is I can specifically say, students, to make it very simple, I can say here 33% of how many marks, students? 25 marks. So effectively, students, 33% of 25 marks will somewhere come around 8 marks or 8.5 marks. So I'll make it 889. So 8 marks, if I divide it by 2 marks per paragraph, how many paragraphs I need, students, in total? I need around 4 paragraphs. Agree, no, students? So I need 4 paragraphs in total. So students, I'm just asking you here, are they asking you to explain about transfer pricing, or are they asking you the evaluation of transferring at a marginal cost? Whether will it prevent suboptimal behavior? So students, listen carefully. When you're reading the questions in the examination, you should always concentrate on what they are asking for. So I will write down here the heading, the big heading. So I always take the big heading, of possibility of transferring the contents at marginal cost. Marginal cost would prevent, would prevent what? Would prevent suboptimal behavior. What is that, students? Suboptimal behavior. Suboptimal behavior. So students, that is the possibility they are asking, whether it will prevent the suboptimal behavior. So students, what I can generally concentrate here is we can directly start with one sentence and then I can connect with the case study. So I'll write down here, transfer pricing. Transfer pricing involves when the company has transactions between the departments at a price which is feasible for both divisions. So that is the basic understanding. You can write whatever you like, but I just summarized it for the basic explanation only. So now students, I can just write down here a new heading. So I'll write down with a different color pen, Trayyner contents to online platform. So students, Trayyner contents to online platform. Now students, just remember, contents are intangible assets once again, and contents are unique. So it is differing from one person to another person as well. So I'll come here to the explanation. So I can say the contents are intangible services where it is unique from one course provider to another course provider, comma, therefore transferring at marginal cost will have the following concerns. Agree, no, students? So can you tell me some major concerns that will be there, students? Because if you observe, I clearly mentioned the contents are intangible services. Just remember, and the contents are unique. Keep that in mind. So students, can you tell me the following concerns that will be there here, students, if you don't mind? The concerns. So the first concern I can generally say is the valuation of the content. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because it involves intellectual skills as well. So do you think the valuation of content will be a major concern at this situation? Yes or no?
Yes.
And the next one I can specifically say here, copyrights. Copyrights is important or not important? Because Priscilla, even though Trayyner is a platform for executive training, the real person who has the content is the human trainer. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no?
That's
And
correct.
those human trainers, will they like their contents being shared in another platform? What do you think, students? That is one ethical issue as well. So just keep in mind, students, the thought process. So valuation of the content is an issue. The copyrights is another issue. And then I can just write down here. I can say the next one is the royalty payments. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if it is going in an online platform, do you need to pay royalty? Agree or not agree, Priscilla?
Agree.
High chances. So students, if you don't mind, can you add one more point for this concerns here? No profit for transferring division. If I, you need to write whatever you like only. So you can't say anything. So students, can you continue here? Can you tell me one more point, students, in the business aspect, students, business aspect? Valuation will be a concern, copyrights will be a concern, royalty payments will be a concern when you are transferring from one person to another person. And the other one, can I generally say here, course updates. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Do you need to update the course? Example, when the course is having some minor errors, do you need to update it with the small edits needed or not needed? Highly needed, right? Yes or no? So students, now if you see here, what can you come to a conclusion is, am I writing too much theory or am I using my theoretical knowledge to this industry? So look at the way I am analyzing these students. I am not complicating my mind here. So can you remember, Priscilla, the mock number 2, what we did? We need to have the technical knowledge a lot. But here you need to have the technical understanding, but when you're writing it, you should write it for the practical business context. Are you clear there, Priscilla? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Excellent. So students, I will now come to the next one. I can say marginal costing will therefore have somewhat conflict of interest. Agree, no, students? Yes or no? Conflict of interest between the two divisions, when the performance evaluation takes place. Now students, there's the question comes here, because students, if you observe who is the hard worker in this case? The app is the hard worker, or if you say the trainer company is the hard worker, who gives the highest effort in this case? What do you think, Priscilla? The app or the trainer?
The trainer.
Correct. So I can say trainer would provide the highest source of effort, but the online app may earn the highest revenue and divisional profit. Suppose if the contents were distributed at marginal cost. This will be the root cause for suboptimal behavior, where trainer may lose the motivation. May lose what, students? The motivation to produce high quality content. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because how much ever hard work they put in, what happened? Who gets the credit? The online app gets the credit. Yes or no? So will they lose the motivation to produce high quality content? Make sense or doesn't make sense? Yes or no?
Makes sense.
Which may effectively lead to a negative reputation among the delegates network. So students, just observe here, this is very, very much concern. And I think one main reason, if you have not got the answer correctly, this suboptimal behavior, this verb would have made a little bit of confusion. But students, are you clear with the explanation here? Yes or no? Yes. So I will just mention, I can say, therefore, the marginal cost of transfer pricing will not prevent suboptimal behavior, So students, I think we have successfully completed this. So before I move on to the second one and the third one, any questions you have, you can ask me, students. But if it is fine for you, students, you can put Y in the chat box. Again, students, the content should be straightforward and no need to be too much long as well. So this is coming around to 240. So 240, 240, 240, 750. It is coming somewhere to that range, students. So students, we can have a small discussion if you like, but I believe we have done this successfully well. And thank you very much, students. Now, a question was asked. Suppose if we get confused in the exam, what to do? Time will be running. So my suggestion is make assumption and write whatever you can, because whenever you write, you will score some marks rather than you are losing your confidence. Okay. So I'll come to the second one. Secondly, how the choice of the retail pricing strategy would affect the key accounting ratios. So how that will affect the key accounting ratios, retail pricing strategy, how will that affect the key accounting ratio? Now, Priscilla, at the moment, we are not having the retail pricing strategy. We have a fixed pricing strategy, because I will just take you to the costing information. If you observe our costing, if you see, currently we have minimum 15 delegates for one training course. Even it's a public course or a bespoke course, our minimum number of participants should be how much? 15 delegates. Agree? So if you see here, this $3,000 is a fixed amount. Are you clear with what I'm saying there? Yes or no? Agree? So what I'm going to see here is the retail pricing. They're asking how the retail pricing will affect the key accounting ratios. So retail pricing is the price which should be less than $3,000. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? It should not be more than $3,000 because it should definitely be less than $3,000. Now, students, that $3,000 you need to remember in the examination because you are a finance manager in this organization. So you need to know the current prices of your items, what you are distributing to the market. So students, I can specifically say that that is a major issue that you need to keep in mind. So students, how the choice of retail pricing strategy would affect the key accounting ratio. So price has relationship with the profitability ratios, and price will have a small profit connectivity even with, I can say, the asset turnover because it has a revenue impact, and also the ROCE as well. So students, my observation here, it's a very hypothetical situation. You can devise this into three aspects, that is the short-term effect, the medium-term effect, and what, students? The long-term effect. Agree or not agree, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if you observe in the short term, when you start an app, I don't think you may make big money because that's the stage where the app is reaching the people. And then students, in the medium term, the word of mouth spreads. And then you may be getting a little improvement in your ratios. And finally, the word of mouth is the determinant. If it is a positive word of mouth, the accounting ratios will be stable in the long run. If it is a negative word of mouth, that means the people are not getting the value out of your product. It will end up as a less performing ratios. So students, I can come to this point. So I'll write down here. Retail. So look at the way I'm doing, students. I'm copying this down. Retail pricing strategy affect to key accounting ratio. Retail pricing strategy accounting to key accounting ratios. Okay. So let's start doing the application, students. The application is not so complicated here. So let's start working on this. So students, what I can fundamentally say here is currently we are charging $3,000 per delegate, where minimum of 15 delegates should be present. This is most likely a corporate pricing, more likely a corporate pricing. Fine. So I will come here in the retail pricing. So look at the way I am consulting, students. In the retail pricing, the number of delegates are not restricted to 15. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if you see in the online platform, I don't think it will have only 15 delegates per course. I think it will be more than 15. So students here see, this is what that differentiate your answer from the majority. So look at the way the thinking applies here. Again, I'm telling students, look at the way the thinking applies. I am completely concentrating on how your mind is concentrating in the scenario. The number of delegates are not restricted to 15. Therefore, we always need to consider the price elasticity. The price elasticity of what, students? Demand. Makes sense or doesn't make sense, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if you observe the 3000, generally the employer, that means the job provider, pays for you on behalf of the workers. But in the retail option, anyone who has money and who finds it affordable will come. So you should be very much careful with the price elasticity of demand, because when the price is more than 3000, I think 15 delegates will end up to 12 delegates. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Practically considering. So when the price is going down, then only the number of delegates may increase. Are you clear what I'm saying there? Yes or no? So students, when the price increases, the demand reduces. Example, I'll connect the example of our case. $3,000, if we increase, there is a tendency, there is what, students? A tendency that 15 delegates will reduce. So students, now I will come to the application. So I can generally say the retail price should target the mass audience, and it should be a reasonable and affordable amount. Any questions, students? You can ask from me, but if it is fine for you, you can put Y in the chat box. So students, this is the fundamental way of appraising the retail pricing strategy. So students, I can continue here. So I can say the impact for the ratios can be in the following. One, I can say short term, then it's going to be what, students? Medium term, and then it's going to be what, students? Long term. Short term, medium term, long term. So students, I will come here and I'll just write down short term. In the short run, the product will not make huge revenue, since it is in the reaching stage. What stage, students? Reaching stage. Is that fine, Priscilla? Yes or no? Are you getting the point? Therefore, we may not observe significant changes in the key accounting ratios. In the key accounting what, students? Ratios. Example, I can specifically say profitability ratios will be not a big change, students. Profitability ratios, and then I can say ROCE, okay, and asset turnover, all will be very less, no big movement, because it is the starting stage of the product. Now students, I will come to the medium term. So in the medium term, I'll write down here medium term, and in the medium term I can write down, this is the turning point. This is the turning point of the product, where you may see some improvement in the ratio as a result of positive what, students? Positive what, students? Word of mouth. Further, you need to understand this depends on the convenience and effectiveness of the courses. Convenience and effectiveness of the courses. So students, before I move on to the next one, any questions you have, you can ask me. So I'll just write down the last one and finish that off. Long term, the product can be a success or a failure. Depends on the word of mouth. Depends on the word of what, students? Mouth. So students, these are the key impacts, but my critical understanding here is you need to be appraising this factor using your present knowledge. So Priscilla, if you observe here, I'm not doing brain dumping, I'm doing analysis. Do you observe the difference, Priscilla? Now here, if you see, I connected to the current situation. So I just explained, communicated to Mr. Asif the impacts of retail pricing using our present situation and what may happen in the future. So students, short, medium and long term way of writing is a shortcut technique in case you are getting a question like this. It gives you the thought process to move and think a little bit better. So students, before I move on to the next section, any doubts, any questions you have, you can let me know, students. Any doubts, any questions?
Can I have a question, sir?
Yes, please, Mr. Jess.
We can consider this as a subsidiary, right?
Yes, you can consider as a subsidiary as well.
So the ROC will be changing, no? We are launching a new division. We have initial investment like
I
non-current
agree.
asset.
But my question here is they are specifically asking about the pricing strategy impact.
Only the product area.
Pricing strategy, correct. Only the product area.
Okay, thank you.
The product area.
Yes, service area. Can we just change it as service area? Because we are service providers. Yes, Shruti.
So I could relate it to like product life cycle thing.
Okay.
So in short term, won't we be investing more in advertising?
Frankly speaking, we are in the corporate segment. So I can say we may spend some money, but not too much.
Can I have one more question?
Yes, please.
In the exam, if I confuse with the term like suboptimal behavior, I don't understand that. How I face it?
Suboptimal behavior.
Yeah.
So suboptimal behavior, I have mentioned here that one division is doing extremely well.
I agree, but when I'm facing the exam, I have a same term.
That's what I told you, that you can't help, right? Because it's your mind at the day. So you should be matured enough to write your own assumption and complete it.
Oh, okay.
Agree, right? Because on the exam day, maturity.
Yeah, from the question itself, we can see something.
Because the maturity plays a major role here. So you should be able to use the common sense and write something whatever you can, but don't end up in mugging up. That will be not giving any marks.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. So I will come to the next one, the third recommendation. Recommend a pricing strategy for app. Now, again, I told you students, even when we did the co-activity discussion, the co-activity we are doing mainly to make you stable with your thought process. Agree, students? We are making stable with your thought process, co-activity table. But that doesn't mean, students, you need to dump the co-activity, because in the co-activity A, we have the pricing strategy. But I told you, students, in the examination, the pricing strategy should be mostly connected with the situation. So Priscilla, can I come to a small discussion with you if you don't mind? Yes or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, Priscilla, in reality, do you think the lifespan of these courses will be too long or too less at current trend? What do you think, Priscilla? Because if you observe, when we were students, when around 10 years ago, courses had a longer time period. Can you remember, Priscilla?
Yes.
Because I think everyone in our class will know there was a time Microsoft Office was taught for money. Can you remember, Priscilla?
Yes.
Because it was a course once upon a time. But now, do you need to go for a class to study Microsoft Office, or you can study from your home?
Study from home.
So do you think at present, the life cycle of the apps based courses will be longer or will be lesser? Will be lesser, right? And can there be situation, Priscilla, that the passwords can be shared between many users? Possible or not possible?
Possible.
And they can also use the app without paying the subscription. That's highly possible, right?
Yes.
So students, that's the way we need to think. So if we are going for a pricing strategy for this app, the best pricing strategy I can say is subscription based, so that they will be able to enjoy many, I can say, courses. Or the second one is they can select the courses what they like it, but the best way to price it is the life cycle of the course. You understand what I'm saying? We have something called life cycle costing. That means we observe the total lifespan of the content and we develop a price for that. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, Priscilla? Yes or no? Now, example, at the moment, if we are going ahead with a unique course, we can charge a premium. If we are going with a normal course, which is available from other YouTube channels as well, then we can charge a very economic rate. So the recommendation of the pricing strategy for the app, it always depends on the courses what we are going to apply in the app. What do you think, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if the courses are very much unique, you can go for a high price. But if the courses are common, you can go for an economic price. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? Yes or no? Priscilla, are you getting the point there? Agree or not agree?
Agree.
Now, students, some answers I am just seeing you have written all the pricing strategies and evaluated. I don't think that is an essential at this stage, students. I don't think that is essential at this stage. So I'll come here. The app may have variety of courses. Agree, no, students? Yes or no? Therefore, we cannot have a stable price for all the courses, unless if we have a subscription type of pricing. Now I will continue. The problem with subscription type of pricing is that it may have more contents than what the user wants, and the user may feel he is overpaying. Agree, no, Priscilla? Yes or no? Because if you observe Linda or LinkedIn, Coursera, these companies, they have subscription. But generally, people are feeling Udemy is better because Udemy does not have subscription. Udemy, you can choose the courses, whatever you like, and study them. And if you buy that course, it's a lifetime ownership. You will have it with you. But if you are studying through Coursera, everything, it's on a subscription mode. And if you don't get time, when the subscription expires, you will again need to pay them money. So students, it always depends there. Then I will come here. Suppose if we are planning to provide the option to the user to select the course he prefers, then we need to understand the course content before fixing prices. Example, if the course is unique and new, we can charge premium. Agree? Yes or no, students? We can charge premium. I'm connecting, okay? Premium. Suppose if the courses are common, we can charge the economic rates. Are you understanding what I'm saying there, students? Yes or no? So students, just keep in mind, this is the way of structuring. So before I move on to the next one, I can generally continue the last one. Therefore, life cycle costing should be evaluated or should be conducted for each courses before making a price decision. So students, this is the answer for this one. Priscilla, any questions you have, you can ask me.
I don't have a question, but I can see how I think most of us, we're probably overthinking.
Thank you. But Priscilla, can I ask you a question? Let's assume Asif is your own CEO. You are working for Asif. Practically tell me, will Asif like the answers like theory based or he wanted to business? What do you think, Priscilla?
Not at all, not theory based, because he won't understand it.
He won't understand it. Students, I think the best way to make you feel confident is when you go to the exam, go like working to an office. Don't think it's an office or an exam. Don't let the pressure take over you. Think this, will this guy like me if I give theory answer? Because I think most of us in our classroom are professionals, and we always know that here we have a major concern that when we are talking in theoretical jargons, our managers and our seniors may find it confusing. So students, look at the way I blended the answer in a very, very business oriented style. So this is very much essential. So I will go for an individual feedback and then I will need to do some other adjustments. So I'll start from Mr. Jose. If you have any questions, you can ask. If it is fine, you can put Y in the chat box. Mr. Kamrul, any questions? If you like, you can ask. If it is fine, you can put Y in the chat box. Kesia, any questions you have, you can ask me. If it is fine, you can put Y in the chat box. Krishna, any questions you have, you can ask me. If you are fine, Y in the chat box. Mr. Funny, any questions you have, you can ask me. Okay, thank you. Miss Priscilla, any questions, you can ask me or you can put Y in the chat box. Mr. Ramesh, any questions, you can ask me. If it is fine, you can put Y in the chat box.
I have a question, sir.
Yes, please.
So I just want to go back to the marginal costing. Can you just elaborate a little bit more in terms of when you say excess capacity?
Okay, so let's assume, Priscilla, you are my sister. Okay, I am your brother. Okay, so we both are related to one group. Agree, no, Priscilla?
Agree.
You are baking cookies. I'm your brother. Okay, you have the possibility to sell the cookie at $20, but the cost of preparing the cookie is only $15. Okay, so when there is demand, will you sell me cookie at $15 or will you sell it for $20? When there is a market demand, you will sell it for $20, right,
Yeah.
Priscilla? So a good transfer pricing. Now let's assume you don't have excess demand. Okay, everyone has bought your cookie and you have still stocks remaining. At that point of view, will you sell it for me at $15? Yes or no?
Yes.
That is the understanding. Are you clear there, Priscilla?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
So students, I think that cookie example gave a better clarity there. So I will come back. So Mr. Sajal, any questions? You can use the chat box, everything fine.
Yeah, I have one.
Yes, Mr. Sajal.
Yeah, in the last pricing strategy, this product life cycle costing. Now, this is a service industry and maybe a service
Sorry,
life
very
cycle.
good, very good. I never use the term product life cycle costing. I just
No,
put life cycle
yeah.
costing.
No, my question was like the life cycle of service industry is quite short. For example, if a disruption takes place, it may be killed in a introduction or say growth stage only. So do we need to put that point also somewhere?
No, you came very close. I'll come to this point, Mr. Sajal. Mr. Sajal, if you observe mobile phones nowadays, how
Yeah.
many months will a mobile phone last in the market?
Maximum, say, if that product is good, 1 year, 2 year maximum.
But don't think as a consumer, think as a
Yeah.
producer like Samsung. Now, if
Mhm.
you see when you develop a Samsung mobile phone, your competitor quickly develops another phone. Agree, no, Mr. Sajal?
Yeah.
So I can say 1 year is also too much. I can say maximum it will be there for 6 months. What do you think, Mr. Sajal? Yes,
Yeah.
or no?
From producer angle, correct. Even
We
less
are
than
the
that.
costing is done by the producer angle. You
Okay,
get what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we are doing in the producer angle. So in the producer angle, even if you see these courses, like you're saying, if even that can get out in the first batch itself, if the people don't like it, they may leave, right, Mr. Sajal? What do you think? Because they may give a rating that it is 1 star or 2 star, and again you need to redevelop another course. What do you think, Mr. Sajal?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the question comes here is, in the producer point of view, the life cycle of the courses are very less, like you are saying. It may not last for a long time. I can say it may be sometimes for less than a year at least. I can say that.
Mhm.
You get the point what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
that is the thing. We do not have a stable pricing policy here. We should observe each and every courses what we are providing, and we need to adjust. Now, if you see oil and gas engineering, we have oil and gas engineering will have a longer lifespan. What do you think, Mr. Sajjad? Oil and gas
Yeah.
engineering. But if you see the other courses like accounting and finance, everything, the life cycle is day by day reducing. Do you observe that, Mr. Sajjal? Yes or no?
Yeah.
That's the point of view.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. So students, I will come to that. Mr. Sambar Murthy, any questions? Shruti, any questions? Thais, any questions? Vishnu, any questions? Yahya, any questions? Okay. So students, I need to show you one more way. So I just want to show. So Priscilla, can you take over the moderation for a moment?
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you. So students, now I'll just take you to our classroom. So today you would have received a mock. Okay, Priscilla, you would have received a mock, which is mock number 4. I think you are seeing here 17th of April. So students, in the last class which I did, okay, I told you to upload your answer, right? You need to put your answer in this add. Agree, no, Priscilla? When you add, you can do it. But now no need to do that, because I initially wanted to make you stronger with your paragraph structuring only. I'm not bothered about you're getting marks. I'm not concentrating on your score now. I'm making you aligned in the process. So I feel the structuring, frankly speaking, all are good. I need to accept the truth here. All are good in structuring. Now, Priscilla, I want to manage the time. So hereafter, You need not do it in a Word document. You can do it in the portal. So Priscilla, do you see this classmarker.com? Yes or no? So when you click this, students, it will take you to another website called Classmarker, where you need to write your name and your email address is essential. Okay. And when you write your name and your email address, and when you click the next, you will be seeing the question. And then students, when you see the question, you may see reference material. It will be a link. So you now in the mocks, what you did, the reference material, you need to scroll down. Agree now, Priscilla? Yes. Now in this class marker, when you see the reference material, you will see a hyperlink, like this hand icon will be coming from the arrow icon. It will change into the hand icon. And when you click that, another pop-up screen will come where you can view the reference material. Are you clear with that, Priscilla? Yes or no? So students, just remember mock 4 is a platform-based mock, 45 minutes timing. And students, it will finish by 10:30 p.m. Now for the paper-based mock, you can submit late. I agree. But for the platform, you can't do that because the platform automatically closes down. So if it is 10:45, if it is 45 minutes, students, you need to start doing the exams latest by 9:30 p.m. Because if you do somewhere around 10 p.m., you will be only eligible to write for half an hour. Are you understanding, Priscilla?
Yes.
So you need to do it at 9:30, the worst case scenario. Don't do it at 10 because exams are 45 minutes. And these exams as a proctor as well, I can check in my portal, like while you are doing, whether you are searching in Google, you're searching any notes, all that thing will be recorded in my portal. So just be careful with that as well. So I give you a 45 minutes time, think it's a real exam and do it. And again, students, don't worry about the perfections there. So Priscilla, I think that explanation is clear, right?
Yes.
So I just want to ask from the rest of the students, are you fine with that, students? Yes or no? If you are fine with that, can I get a Y in the chat box, students? Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much. And one more thing, students, since you have a holiday for 2 days, so co-activity evaluation, I will be looking at your answers, what you send. And one more thing, students, I just want to give a small assignment. So just a minute. Students, can you do the co-activity B? Priscilla, can you start working on the co-activity B during these 2 days?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So students, you can go through the co-activity B. So what will happen is, students, let's meet up on our Tuesday class. Thank you very much, students, for your kind support for today. And take care, students. Happy holidays.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Yes.
So you were going to conduct a session on verbs, right?
Verbs. No.
And the last session you were saying.
Yes, that is the co-activities that I will be doing.
Okay.
So thank you, students.